Hello everybody, and welcome to this video where we look at, is Age of Wonders 4 worth buying? Now, I've been playing this game since it came out. I'm not going to go and say I've got hundreds of hours in it, as I only get to play when I stream. But we're going to have a quick look at some of its features, some of the pluses and negatives of the game, and ultimately I'm going to give you my opinion on whether I think this game is worth buying. Now, Age of Wonders 4 is a open map build and fight style game. It's on a hexagonal grid, and you build your cities, build your armies, go off and either make friends or fight your enemies to conquer the world in one of 4 victory conditions, or of course there are the story missions which have specific goals in mind. Now, Age of Wonders 4 has been out for a couple of months at the making of this video, and it has already had its first update and DLC be released. That got released on June 20th of this year, and that included some free bits and, like I said, the first DLC, which was Dragon Dawn DLC, which you can possibly see at the top of my screen flashing along. And for those of you that are wondering as well, there is still plenty of planned content to come. In this year, we are still expecting 2 free updates and the second of 4 DLCs. And if they continue to release them on the same kind of schedule or style, I would say in the year 2024, you will probably be expecting the last 2 DLCs, which we currently know about. And as I said, if they release them in the same way, that could include then 4 free DLCs as well. As at the moment, there has basically been the DLC coming out with a free DLC every time, with a free DLC at the moment in the middle. So if they do it on the same schedule, even if they actually just do the same thing they did yesterday of DLC with the free DLC and then just a free DLC and then DLC, free DLC, then you would still be expecting 3 free content, wow, say that fast, to come out next year. So I mean, that's going to be quite a lot of updates. So the game is by no way finished in terms of the amount of content coming out for it. Now, with the new DLC that came out, we did get a new set of story missions, and there is going to be a new set of story missions, I believe, with the next DLC as well. So, in terms of actual campaign content, there is also going to be more added to that. Now, the major plus of this game, and I think I would be joined by most of the Age of Wonders community in saying this, that it's probably the part of the game that really does keep you coming back, is its mild RPG elements. Now, if we basically go and have a look, if I click on New Game here,
choose your destination.
I'm just going to select any of the realms for a second. Next,
Your journey.
one of the greatest things about this game is faction creation. So if I click Create a Faction,
What is your people's
you basically get to pick one of many starting races, and there are quite a few, and more will be coming out with the extra DLC, etc. As you can see, this one here, the Lizard Folk, is a DLC faction. And then once you've gone and selected a faction,
In this step, you will pick your people's culture.
as you can
which
hear from what the
defines your
computer is possibly
starting
telling me in the
points and
background,
economy.
you pick what they, their general style of play from the beginning, but this is in no means set throughout the
What
game.
defines their society?
Pick a couple of little things to go along with it.
Choose your first tome of magic.
Tome of Magic, the type of leader you have, and I'm just zooming through all
Reveal
this
yourself.
because from this point onwards is where it also becomes a lot more fun. Now, all of those things I did pick, I will touch on a little bit more in a minute. But as you can see, when you then get to this point in terms of the race creation, you then basically get to completely decide what your leader is going to be like. Is he going to be a sword and shield? Is he going to be a lance? Is he going to have a tyrant sword and shield, which is something I've gone and unlocked? Is he going to have a spirit orb? As you can see, this isn't really changing his appearance much because he looks how he looks. Now, however, though, what kind of body type? Basically male or female. Physique, is he going to be really skinny or really chunky? We go down to, we have skin decorations. Do you want him to have tattoos? Leg length. Is he going to have long legs or short legs? Same with the arms. We go all the way down, you can choose his beard from a few choices, his hairstyle, his eye color, his head, so literally what his face looks like, his outfit. So as you can see, he's got, oh, there you go, some glorious outfit with gloves, helmet, whether he wears one, whether he has a cloak. And so you can basically design your ruler exactly how you want them to be. And you can do the same with your race. Again, the physique, arm length, leg length, skin color, army mount type. Do we want them to be on a pony, a boar, a wolf, a warg? And then you can go through with this and basically create your race. But this is not where it ends with Age of Wonders 4. With Age of Wonders 4, as you progress through the game, you will unlock tomes, as you saw I did. I had a tome. And then in certain ones of the tomes, you will have things you can unlock, which basically are minor or major race transformations. Unfortunately, I didn't find any of that. I don't think I'll find any in a Tome 1. And what these do, these will add permanent attributes or skills to your race, but they will also mildly change their appearance. For instance, I think I possibly might actually... There you go. Minor race transformation. Draconic Vitality. As you can see, it would give them +3 hit points. But like I said, it also changes their appearance. I know for this one, for instance, it removes their hair and gives them kind of little draconic, spiky kind of eyebrows, like little bone juts coming out of the top of their head. And so you can continue to design and improve your race as you go along. Like I said, this is the mild RPG element, and you do the same with your leader. Now, one other thing I love about this game is the fact that it's in-depth enough for you to be able to make different choices, be able to go down different chosen routes with your race, your hero, and your play style. Like I said, I mean, for instance, there's 4 different types of victory. So, you know, you don't always simply have to go for conquer your enemy. And it's simple enough that you can basically pick it up and start playing it without having ever played an Age of Wonders before, because this is the 4th in the series, plus there's been a couple of spin-offs. Having near enough never played a hex-style strategy game before, for instance, like Civilization, or I believe Humankind is also hex-based. And you can just start playing and be able to pick it up and play through it without any problems whatsoever. Obviously, you will have to learn as you go, as you would with any game. But there is absolutely nothing stopping you from picking up and playing. And the same with combat. Combat is simple enough for you to be able to pick it up and run with it and not have any problems. But of course, it's also in-depth enough for you to be able to pick on things like unit abilities, hero spells, and make some major difference to your fighting abilities with more in-depth knowledge. So this game, in my opinion, applies to a very wide range of style of player. Do you want to simply play light? Do you want to, you know, just have a bit of fun, click a few buttons kind of thing, you know, keep going forward, have a bit of fun? Or do you want to get in depth? Do you want to start making combination choices between, for instance, the tomes you pick and the minor and major race transformations you give your people so the abilities get, and then start syncing these together and using the right abilities in combat so you get, like I said, combining fields of effect, shall we say, between different things. And all of this is in fact available for you to be able to do whilst playing this game. So for that reason as well, I think this game is a great pickup, no matter what style of strategy game player you might be playing. Now, in terms of some other pros and cons, you do have a pretty nice overlay and a pretty nice graphics. I mean, it's slightly cartoony, but it's very well done. I mean, as you've seen from some of the things I've gone through, the drawings, the graphics, things do look really nice, including the world map and the mobs, etc, etc. And as I said as well, there are currently 2 campaigns for you to play with, and several standalone scenarios for you to also play with. This is not including being able to create custom maps. So there is a lot of content already, and as mentioned, there is a lot more content still to be released for this game. Not all of it being paid, but obviously some of it is paid DLC. In terms of being able, the price for being able to pick it up, I mean, yeah, it's pretty standard for a fairly new game. Obviously, you know, you may be able to get it on deal at some point if the price doesn't quite sit right with you. I would also recommend shopping around. Don't just pick it up on the first place you look at. Feel free to, you know, attempt to find places where it might be on offer or it might be a little bit cheaper. I'm not gonna lie, I certainly do. And then the only thing I've really found whilst playing the game, you know, I mean, obviously not just in terms of the type of game it is and is it the type of game for you, because obviously if you don't like strategy games, you're not really gonna like Age of Wonders 4. But in terms of things I'd like to see, which I would like to hope there might be more coming in the future, we shall see, is an improvement to the units in terms of evolvability and longevity of your units. Because basically your units come in 5 tiers, tier 1 to 5, pretty simple saying that. For instance, if I highlight one that's currently on my screen, you can see it's a tier 1, it's a skirmisher unit, and it's an animal. Now, is this going to stay here? Yep. You can see for this one, for instance, if I can get it to rank 5, that's be a rank of champion, it will evolve into a Slither. Currently it's a Slither hatchling. This Slither is basically, see if I can highlight this as well. Yep, as you can see, it's a tier 3 unit. So this means I can turn my tier 1 unit to a tier 3 unit if I basically stick with it, keep it alive, get it some experience. And then when I get to tier 3, obviously I can keep using it. Because with this game, a tier 2 unit is better than a tier 1 unit. A tier 3 unit will absolutely destroy a tier 1 unit. And so obviously when you get to a tier 5 unit, if you're taking tier 1s against tier 5, you'll pretty much be able to go up against 2 units and just die. It's the differences are that much. So for instance, your starting units, you don't really get to keep them that much. There are a few that can evolve. I mean, this tome is the Tome of Evolution, so it's a great example. But there aren't that many units that can evolve, especially your actual race units. I mean, obviously these are going to be special units. We've got a Slytherin one down here, we've got a Wyvern. But your actual race units, like your general archers or your little mage units or your fighters, they don't really have any evolution in them. So you kind of just end up churning and replacing your units. So that's probably one of the biggest drawbacks for me. It's something I'd love to see them implement, you know, some kind of attachment to your units is something especially at this, because it's quite a heavy roleplay style game, I feel, in terms of what you're able to do with your race and, you know, evolve them and give them the new traits, etc. So it's something personally for me I would absolutely love to see. Not to saying that that is a game breaker. Obviously, you know, I really do enjoy the roleplay element of the game. So in terms of actual negatives for the game, I mean, at the moment, I'm not really coming up with too many. In my opinion, is this game worth buying? Very much yes. I believe not only is it a good solid game at the moment, especially if you enjoy the slightly more roleplay element, because like I said, you know, kind of getting attached to your units, evolving them, giving them new traits, the same with your leaders, is so much fun. And it's definitely a strong element brought to this game, and it is a solid core of a strategy game, which has a lot more to be given to it by Paradox, and they are going to give a lot more to it. Whether it's worth for full price or not, that's between you and your wallet, and I would always recommend shopping around. As I said earlier, get yourself something on deal, find yourself a price you can live with. But if you've been umming and ahhing about the game, I very much think it's worth it. Obviously, if you want to see gameplay, there's going to be ridiculous amounts of videos on YouTube. I, of course, have some myself, which you're more than welcome to go over and look at. If you want to actually see what more of the gameplay is like, you can see, for instance, I do play strategy games. You can tell that probably from my YouTube channel, but I do have the learning campaign on my channel. I did do that first, and you can even see me, myself, learning how to play the game by just playing it a couple of hours a week while streaming, and how kind of intuitive and easy it is to actually be able to pick up. And so I hope you've all found this video informative, and I hope you've gained something from it. And so until next time, I've been Worldwide. This has been my opinion on is Age of Wonders 4 worth it? Now, for all of you out there, as per always is to say in all of my videos, take care, stay safe, and stay happy.